What's up? Grace Report. Happy Saturday. What is up? D Nice, Tammy, Wendy, Joanne, Matthew with the hell. Oh, Bernadette, Brandon. How's everyone doing? How's your weekend going? D Nice started off with a question: which Josh Hartnett movie is your favorite? I like Black Hawk Down. A huge chunk of my military is and was in the or family is and was in the. Mine is Pearl Harbor. And that's kind of Pearl Harbor only because I am fascinated with World War II planes. I've always been fascinated with the planes that came from there. My dad used to know all the planes, and I'm no different. I know I can't. He probably can name them better than I can, but I can name a few of them. But I loved the planes and the storyline in that, and I like the history. History had always been my favorite subject, and I always loved learning about the world wars. Don't ask me why. And Pearl Harbor was no different, and that is one of my favorites with him. And I think I also like 30, what was it, the vampire one, the 30 days and 30 nights one, I think it is. And then of course he was also in H2O, Halloween H2O. There's a lot of movies he was in because he's about the same age as me. So I kind of grew up with him. Emily, how's it going? Bernadette, what's up over there on Twitch? If you guys would like to follow me on Twitch, I have a goal. I need to reach, I think, 50 followers, I believe, so I can upload videos over there. So if you guys have Twitch, please follow me. Just another place to add just in case something happens here, or also too just to expand my reach, because YouTube likes to hide certain channels. That I'm not sure how true that is. It's just something I read because I happen to be based like a spooky based type of channel. They tend to hide them, and they only share the same ones that they always share. So if you guys can follow me over there, Bernadette dropped the link in the chat. Emily Parkinson goes, he was in Penny Dreadful. I saw some of it, but I didn't see the whole thing because at the time I didn't have Showtime. And I think Penny Dreadful was on Showtime if I wasn't mistaken. All I know is I did not he completely changed in this movie. Like, he does not look like the person I remembered when I was younger. He doesn't look bad. He definitely changed. Tyrana, what is up? Elaine, how's it going? And as always, Skeleduck is somewhere in this background. Just remind me by the end of the stream, and I will reveal his location to you. If you are new to this channel and do not know who or what or if Skeleduck is, he is pictured in my upper right hand corner, but it's probably your upper left hand corner. I hide him every stream, and it's usually somewhere in my background. I may get creative though because I'm running out of places, but just remind me at the end of the stream and I will reveal his location. Lisa Boo, what is up? Anyone do anything interesting this weekend while we wait for people to trickle in? I did get to watch the what is it, the Netflix series, I guess, the monster, I guess it's part of the monster series, which is the same as the one from last year with Evan Peters on Dahmer. This year it's on Kyle and Lyle Menendez. Honestly, I felt like the Dahmer one's better than the Menendez one. I haven't finished it, but I feel like I don't know, for some odd reason it just seems flat to me. And the way that they portray the brothers, I don't feel like it's 100% accurate. That, in my opinion. Um And I even think there's an article saying that one of the brothers was complaining about it too or something. But I feel like yeah, I didn't finish it all yet. I'm gonna probably finish it after the stream, but I just felt like it's not as good as the Dahmer one. Um, and they're also coming out with one. Their next venture is Ed Gein, which I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. Elaine goes, I'm watching that today too, Lisa. But I will finish it. If you guys like true crime, that is something you can watch this weekend. Also, Terrifier 3. There was a few lucky people who went to Fantastic Fest. I don't even know where that is. They were able to see the movie, so the reviews for Terrifier 3 are out. I didn't read any of them because a lot of times with horror movies, you kind of get disappointed with the reviews. So I didn't read any of them. I'm gonna watch it when I see it. I'm trying not to see any trailers. I did see the trailer that dropped, but I don't want to see any new ones because a lot of time with horror, they give a lot of the movie away, and I don't want to get spoiled. And also today or yesterday, this wasn't today, yesterday, they did mention Damien Leone, who's the creator of Terrifier, did mention that there's going to be a Terrifier 4. I don't know how much more they could do this because if it's anything like Hellraiser after the fourth one, it went downhill. So I love Art the Clown, don't get me wrong. It's more of a gory fest if you guys haven't seen it. I'm not sure where it's playing. I know it's streaming somewhere. Terrifier 3 has not yet arrived in theaters. It's going to be released in theaters on October 11th. But already its writer and director Damien Leone confirmed that he will make a 4. I don't know how I feel about that because usually after a while it just gets old. Don't get me wrong, I find art like crazy. The third installment of the slasher franchise premiered Thursday at Fantastic Fest in Austin, Texas. During a Q&A, Leone affirmed, yes, there will be a Terrifier 4. No further details were given. The franchise gained a cult following with its first release, but it only became a big name in horror after the sequel came out. Terrifier 2 surpassed expectations, reaching $15 million in the box office sales. The movie's budget, in contrast, was less than a tenth of that at $250,000. As for Terrifier 3, the cast remains full of the familiar faces, with David Howard Thornton returning as Art the Clown, also returning as Lauren Lavera as Sienna, Elliot Fulham as Jonathan, Shaw, Samantha Scafidi as Victoria Hayes, and Chris Jericho as Burke. And yes, the wrestler Chris Jericho. The movies are known for their extreme gore, grisly kills, and over-the-top special effects, with the terrifying and silent Art the Clown becoming a new horror icon. The threequel is set on the night of Christmas Eve, and it leaves the door open for another sequel. I do have the poster for it. It's in the other room. New cast additions include Daniel Roebuck from Final Destination as Santa Claus, Antonella Rose from Fear of the Walking Dead, Jason Patrick from The Lost Boys, and John Abrams from House of Wax. Another big name that came in behind the scenes was acclaimed visual effects artist Tom Savini. I did not know that. That's kind of cool. Terrifier 3, as I had mentioned earlier, will officially hit theaters on October 11th. I am probably not going to see that one in theaters. I'll probably wait for it to come on streaming, but I am super excited. Elaine goes, I was about to say that was a wrestler I had a crush on. If you like gore, bloody gore, I feel like Hellraiser was bloodier. Hostel, I think, is bloodier than Terrifier. But check it out. What makes it's not, I don't consider it scary. It's just more of a gore fest type of thing. What makes it creepy is the clown. Honestly, I feel like he doesn't say a word at all. It's all based on like his facial expressions and how he moves. So it's crazy. I like my favorite wrestlers were Batista, Rey Mysterio, The Undertaker. When I watched wrestling, I haven't watched wrestling in a long time. Um, I can't think of whatever. I like Hulk Hogan too. Um, I know there was another one, but I know those were the Big Show. I like the Big Show. Stone Cold Steve Austin. How can you not like Stone Cold Steve Austin? Um, I can't think of any other, but those were mine. Triple H. I liked him too. All right, guys, have any of you gotten a chance to seen have any of you guys had a chance, I'm like stumbling on my words here. Has any of you have a chance to watch Trapped? I have not. Before I get into the main story, Trap is going to be available on streaming. It is available on VOD now if you guys are one of those people that like to buy movies, digital movies. I'm not one of them unless it's something I really want to see and I've been wanting to see, then I'll go ahead and buy it. But usually I just wait for it to come on one of the services that I have. D Nice goes, nope, but it's on my watch list. D Nice goes, I haven't watched wrestling since Stone Cold Steve Austin. The cool thing about Stone Cold Steve Austin, if you follow him on Instagram, he's a cat dude. He shows all his cats on his Instagram, which I think is so cool. He's living the life out there on he's living the life with his cats and his dogs. It's so cool. I have not seen it yet, but the good thing is it is coming to Max. So for those of you that do have Max, unfortunately it's not like next week, which I wish it was, but Josh Hartnett's hit thriller Trap gets Max streaming premiere date. Trap, M. Night Shyamalan's hit serial killer starring Josh Hartnett is coming soon to Max for its streaming video on demand debut, which I was like, finally. Trap was released in theaters on August 2nd. In the film, which is written and directed by Shyamalan, Hartnett stars as Cooper, a seemingly normal dad who accompanies his young teen daughter Riley, played by Ariel Donahue, to a concert featuring Lady Raven, who is played by his M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, Salika Shyamalan, a pop music superstar on the same level as Taylor Swift. Because of her immense popularity, security is tight at the Lady Raven show. But Cooper notices something is off when he sees lines of law enforcement at all the concert venues exit, as well as the presence of FBI agents. Buddying up to a t-shirt vendor at the show, Cooper learns that authorities have set a trap for a serial killer named The Butcher. Cooper is well aware of who The Butcher is because, as the film trailer reveals, he is the serial killer and suddenly must find a way to escape the venue. According to streaming tracker When to Stream, Trap is set to make its debut on Max on Friday, October 25th, just in time for Halloween. Unfortunately, and it's not within the next week. Trap is a Warner Brothers release. Max, which is Warner Brothers Discovery streaming service, is the first scheduled stop for the film. So for you guys, we just have to wait a little longer, but it will arrive on Max for those of you that have Max, and I have Max, so I cannot wait. D-Nice goes Shamalanga Ding Dong. I almost did that, D-Nice. I really did. Bernadette goes, I've seen, speaking of Stone Cold Steve Austin, I've seen him with all his cats. I love it. Elaine goes, dang, that's a good bit of a time. It is, but it will make it's I believe it comes out the weekend before Halloween, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's the weekend before Halloween, so that I mean, if you think of it, it's a great movie to watch during spooky season. Though I watch movies regardless if it's spooky season or not, but it comes in time for Halloween, which is cool. I'll give it that. But we still have to wait, unfortunately. Give me a second, guys. Oh, here it is. D Nice goes, I was looking at what it was based on and I am hooked. So, believe it or not, I was kind of surprised because I was like, M. Night Shyamalan, I'm like, I know what his movies involve, and I'm usually like, they're very creative. He always has a twist. He always makes you think. So I didn't think anything of this one, but it is inspired by a true event, which is kind of crazy. I think this article does give a little, kind of give some things away. I'll try to skip over those because I know a lot of us have not seen this film. Um, but I wanted to do something a little different, and I saw this, and I was like, "Whoa!" Because I'm always interested in seeing what movies were based on or where the idea came from. Like with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we know Ed Gein was an inspiration to that, as well as other things. It wasn't just Ed Gein, but we most know it for is Ed Gein. So it's always cool to hear the true stories. And then The Conjuring, of course, I've talked about that, what the story is based on, but I feel like that story is kind of 50-50. I feel like there's too many contradictions in that story. So it makes me kind of hard. It's very hard to believe that one. And then also too, I think it was the movie A Haunting in Connecticut. That one too, um, is very skeptical as well because their story doesn't corroborate other things. So it's like, plus it's a Warren case. So that's all I have to say. Tyretico sounds good. I want to watch it now. If you guys, like I said, it is available on VOD. So if you're one of those that like to pay for digital movies, because I know some people do, um, go for it. The only problem with it is you don't physically own the copy. So if that digital service loses the rights to it, you'll lose the movie even though you paid for it. So just be careful with that in the future. But I kind of like digital because it makes it easier. You could take it with you wherever you want to go. It's like, the book readers now. You could carry 20 books in your phone, and it's the same with the digital movies. You could carry 20 movies or more with you, whatever or how many you have in your account. So it's kind of cool, but you just got to think of the fact that maybe one day you will lose it. So just keep that in mind. So this is from the Hollywood Reporter, the real life events that inspired M. Night Shyamalan's Trap. This is a crazy one. The filmmaker's latest thriller may have an outlandish plot, but it's closer to reality than viewers may think. And like I said, I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, it's M. Night Shyamalan. What does he have up his sleeve? I didn't think it was based on anything true or anything, but it actually is. Elaine goes, my two grown kids saw it and said it was extremely good. Oh, awesome. Bernadette goes, I actually heard about a low budget movie called Creep that was supposed to be real good with the M. Night Shyamalan long. M. Night Shyamalan is no stranger to high concept thrillers. His latest film, Trap, takes a Silence of the Lambs inspired approach at an unlikely location, a packed concert by pop star Lady Raven. As I had said in the earlier article, it's played by his daughter, Salika. Cooper, Josh Hartnett, is a seemingly normal suburban dad who takes his daughter to see her favorite artist. While striking up a conversation with a venue vendor, he finds out that the show is actually a trap, which is an awesome name for the movie. The FBI has a plan to catch a serial killer called the Butcher. After learning he would be in attendance, but as revealed in the trailer, Cooper is the butcher and has to find a way to escape. See, I feel like I wish this wasn't here, but I feel like Josh Hartnett, like right here, it looks like Josh Hartnett. Hartnett. But I saw some things and I'm like, oh my god, he changed so much. Do you guys think he's changed um a lot? And I get it. We all age. Eventually we all gonna look different compared to what we used to. So I understand that. But I saw him and I was like, oh my god, that is not the guy I remember. Like he completely changed. Did you guys feel the same way when you saw that he was in this movie, but I hadn't seen him in a movie in a long time. I think the last one I saw probably with him in it was probably like Halloween H2O. And I think I didn't see him in any one after that. D Dice goes, I think so. But I don't know. That's just me. I felt like I was like, holy crap. Like, I don't even recognize him. Lisa Boo goes, yeah, it's been a while since I've seen him because I remember. I mean, he still looks the same, like in this picture, but there's sometimes I would see interviews with him and I'm like, oh my God, he looks completely different. But I get it. We all age. I understand that. Not everyone's going to age. Um, Not everyone has the fountain of youth, so I totally understand. Eventually, we're gonna look different eventually as we get older. So I totally understand. Emily Parkinson's goes, Devin Sawa looks really different too. I think I saw him, and I was thinking the same thing. They don't have that baby face like they had when when I was younger, when I saw them, and then when they were younger, because they're about the same age as I am. So while the plot may sound outlandish, Lisa Boo goes, they could do a lot with makeup. I know I've seen those TikToks where people, sometimes I feel like it's AI, but I've seen those TikToks where people look completely like, I don't mean to be mean, but they look like they completely transform themselves to like this model when they look like an ugly duckling type of thing. And sometimes I feel like, is this real? D Dice goes, I legit almost mistook him for Nathan Fillion from Firefly. While the plot may sound outlandish, it's partially based on a true story. Shyamalan shared the trap took inspiration from the real life Operation Flagship. Flagship. I heard about it when I was a kid and I thought it was totally absurdist that this actually happened. The filmmaker told BBC News it was something that was in my head a lot when it happened. The authorities used the absurdity against them because they lowered their guard, which I thought was quite brilliant. He added to the outlet, so it just stuck with me. And I guess when Salika and I were thinking about a movie at a concert, I wondered why would this person not be able to get out and how I could keep him there. The December 1985 sting operation organized by the U.S. Marshals and Washington, D.C.'s Metropolitan Police Department tricked more than 100 wanted fugitives into going into the Washington Convention Center under the guise of having won free tickets to a Washington Redskins, now the Washington Commanders game against the Cincinnati Bengals, as well as a chance to win tickets to the 1986 Super Bowl. How brilliant is this? I had never heard of this Operation Flagship, but then again, I was very young when this happened. Um, ah, skipped. So I had never heard of it, but this is freaking nuts. It was said to be part of a special event celebrating the inauguration of a new DC sports TV network called Flagship International Sports Television Inc. It shared the same acronym as the U.S. Marshals Service Fugitive Investigative Strike Team. To collect their tickets, the winners were told to show up at a brunch a few hours before the game. Upon arrival, the fugitives were split into small groups and taken into party rooms with snacks and posters that read, "Let's party." Marshals and police officers posed as event staffers, with female officers dressed as cheerleaders hugging the guests to check for weapons. The men were also given balloons, categorizing them by color. Violent criminals received red balloons. Louis McKinney, the chief of enforcement operations for the U.S. Marshals, pretended to be an MC, giving a speech to the attendees before they received their prize. As soon as McKinney said he had a big surprise, marshals entered the room to arrest the delinquents, repeating the same process with each group. It became one of the most successful mass arrests of fugitives in American history. That is nuts. Um, it's nuts in the fact that it went off smoothly and no one recognized anybody. Joanne goes, that was a great plan. It definitely was. Um, D Nice flagship. Elaine is asking, does anyone think that Josh Hartnett, I believe she's speaking of Josh Hartnett, had any work done? I don't think he did. I don't think he did. He did, or he has had any work done. I think it's just he had such a baby face when he was younger, and he just he's growing into he's he's growing into adulthood. Joanne goes Trojan horse in reverse, kind of. Elaine goes, that is a freaking BA movie. It was hilarious. The cops were literally cheerleaders and mascots, Shyamalan said to the Empire magazine in July, and the criminals were all caught. It was so twisted and funny. Instead of using a popular football game at the time of Operation Flagship, Redskins tickets were particularly hot commodity. Shyamalan opted to set the trap in a concert with the scope of a Taylor Swift era tour show, which is cool. Which is cool because that is like the big thing now. Not for me. I don't plan on going to a Taylor Swift concert, but it is a hot commodity. So that's kind of cool that he decided to do it with that take. I directed an entire concert. The filmmaker told Empire, and it wasn't just a thing in the background, it's equally important. There is no pretend concert going on. I love the idea of cinema as windows within windows. One of the reasons to come see the movie at the movie theater is because there's literally a real concert that you could see nowhere except in that movie. Retired federal agent Tobias Roach, who was part of the Operation Flagship, fact-checked to British GQ how accurately thought out Shyamalan movie was. I'm not going to read the rest of this because it's probably going to give things away, and I don't want to kind of give. I totally don't want to give that away. No, Joanne, that was not a movie. The Operation Flag ship was actually an operation put out by the U.S. Marshal, and I don't remember who the other marshals and Washington D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. And their goal was to apprehend a bunch of criminals, basically. And they were able to gather 100 of them at the stadium and trick them, saying that they won tickets and they could possibly win tickets to the Super Bowl. And one of the head investigators, I forgot what his name was, Louis McKinney, the chief enforcement operation of the U.S. Marshals, he pretended to be an MC. And when he said, I got a big surprise for you, they moved in and arrested everybody. And they were super organized too. Like they color coded the criminals for like red for violent crimes, which was kind of cool. So you kind of knew how to approach these people, which is it's crazy. It was brilliant. In the movie, since this was already given away, I'll say it. A chatty vendor gives away the scheme. Roach told GQ that in this kind of operation, everyone would have to keep mum on the plan for it to work. He recalled that an attorney representing a local company that had the exclusive rights to the Redskin game showed up to the convention center stating that the inaugural event for the, unbeknownst to him, fake broadcasting company Flagship International Sports Television was illegal. The man was taken aside and told what was actually happened. He kept it a secret. He was really good about it, said Roach. He wound up watching the entire sting from us from the control room, but if the lawyer had blown their cover, the operation would have been shut down. And I believe that is all for that article. Joanne goes like fishing with a net. Exactly. So that is crazy. What do you think of that operation? And um how it's inspired trap. He just M. Night Shyamalan just switched it to a concert because nowadays what's he wanted to kind of make it relevant, which is cool. And what's relevant right now and who's big right now is Taylor Swift. So he kind of inspired from that. Lisa Bugo, sneaky it was. That's crazy how they got. And then they had, police officers dress up as the servers and the cheerleaders. So that is super crazy. And they were super organized. And then they could have gotten blown, their cover blown, but luckily that didn't happen. And they also, I think they mentioned in there that they were hoping that no one recognized anybody, like they didn't go to prison with another person that showed up there. So they were lucky that didn't happen either. D Nice goes, I mean, like, what happened with Ariana Grande, her concert? She used to be big too, or did she fall off the map? Joanne goes, the original operation would make a great movie. It would. I agree. Like if Bernadette goes, Ariana creeps me out. She has a Joker smile. D Nice goes, no, Lisa, she is focusing more on acting now. Wicked. Oh, that's right. She is in that. I don't follow her, so I do apologize. Terry goes, I agree. Joanne goes, someone read their copy of Art of War. D Nice goes, she had work done. I mean, I guess if you had the money to do that, I don't know if I would do that because I feel like we should just accept how I don't know. I don't think I would be able to do that. I always felt like we should accept who we are and not change who we are kind of thing because I feel like that's kind of changing who you are unless you have to medically have something done, then I'm for it. But I feel like doing it just because you don't like how your nose looks or something like that. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know about you guys. I just feel like that. I don't know. If I had the money or not, I probably wouldn't do that. Kyle, what is up? How's it going? Bernadette goes, I would get all my fat sucked out and pig out again. Elaine goes, Lisa, I'm so old. I'm scared if I go under the knife that would be it for me. I think that could happen to anyone, regardless of age. Unfortunately, D Nice goes, she had a rhinoplasty. I know sometimes when you have like sometimes if you have like a deviated septum or something and you get that worked on, it helps you breathe better. So that if medically, if that's something you need to get done, I'm all for it. Obviously, if it's gonna, add to your quality of life, go for it. But I just feel like, why would you change yourself? It just, I don't know. I don't know. Joanne goes, I always wanted to get a chemical peel for my face. I saw those. I don't know about those. But I feel like I did read. I feel like after like all the I mean, it sounds nasty if you think of it, but I feel like it does give you better skin. So maybe. Kyle goes, pizza night, pizza lunch, pizza dinner. Ugh. Emily goes, Rose McGowan ruined her look. She was so much prettier before. I hate it's like especially nowadays, like a lot of people don't want to age gracefully, so they try to change themselves. Um, but I think when you age gracefully, that's the greatest beauty you could show everyone. So, my opinion, I know other people have other opinions, but Joanne goes, "Pizza is the best meal, all the food groups." Exactly. How can you not like pizza? But I feel your pain, Kyle, because after a while it gets old. But I've been craving pizza, but I haven't had pizza in a while. Bernadette goes, "When I hear chemical pill, I think of Samantha from Sex and the City episode where she came out looking like Freddy Krueger. No thanks." Joanne is having pizza tomorrow. That's a good plan. D Dice goes, "Curly Sue was my dream to eat pizza in my tub. It's because it's become a reality and I drop it, so it's not all that glamorous." Elaine goes, "Peel with a face is a pass for me." Because if, I don't know, chemical peel, I know what it is, but when initially before I actually saw what it was, it makes me think of a horror movie and Freddy Krueger saying some, snarky remark, "Let's get that chemical peel for you," or something like that. I don't know. It just reminds me of something like that. Chemical peel this. He'll say something. He would say something better than me. I'm kind of a cheesy. D Dice goes, "Curly Sue was the 1991 movie." I think I saw that years ago. Joanne made fresh pesto today. Ooh, that sounds good. Antone, how's it going? So, guys, have any of you heard of Grouse Lake in Yosemite, or Gross Lake? I don't know how you pronounce that. Gross Lake in Yosemite. I've been to Yosemite years ago. Beautiful, beautiful park. Kyle goes, "Dr. Squatch soap brand has a pizza flavor scented soap now? No way." They have some soaps that smell good though, but pizza scented, I don't know about that one. Joanne has heard of it. Tirana has not. I have not either, though I've been to Yosemite before, but it was years ago. There is a lake that is allegedly haunted. Don't swim in this haunted Yosemite lake if you hear crying. I love stories like this. It's kind of like urban legends. You never know. I always believe that there's something truthful when it comes to urban legends. It might not necessarily be what the story is or what we hear or read about the story, but there's something. Don't tell me it's a lady in white. Bernadette. Yosemite National Park. Oh my gosh. Yosemite National Park is known for having some of the most difficult hikes in California, albeit beautiful ones. And there's also a lot. I think I don't know if it was Yosemite or Yellowstone that's had because people have gone beyond, like, they don't read the warning signs or like the caution signs that the park puts out, and they go past them and things happen to them, which is sad. One challenging hike in particular takes hikers to a small alpine lake that highlights the dark side of Yosemite with a tale that has been told for centuries. If the lore is to be believed, visitors may want to make sure not to swim in this lake if they hear crying. There have been stories of spirits that haunt Yosemite since before it was a national park, but that is part of Yosemite's draw, with visitors choosing to make reservations for Yosemite's most haunted hotel during their stay. I did not know Yosemite had a haunted hotel. Oh, rabbit hole, people. During their stay, or even exploring areas that are known to have supernatural activity in the park, there's an interest in things that cannot be explained. This is why so many make the hike to Grouse Lake or Gross Lake to see if the lake is haunted, as the stories that surround it make it out to be. Why hikers may want to skip a swim in Grouse. I want to say it's Grouse Lake. Here is Grouse or Gross Lake. Beautiful area. Oh my God, it is so beautiful. I think I don't care if it's haunted or not. Before Yosemite National Park was part of the national park system, it was land that several Native American tribes lived in and around. It is one of the children from the Awanee tribe that the story of Grouse Lake centers on, and is not only sad but also chilling. Yosemite named its first park ranger Galen Clark in 1867. 10 years before he took this position, though, Clark, who enjoyed hiking through Yosemite, decided to take a hike off the beaten path. The path would eventually take Clark to Grouse Lake. Emily, thank you for gifting one membership. Welcome. LAF's me to the Wolfpack. I hope I didn't butcher your screen name. Hearts for Emily and also Tyranna. Thank you for gifting one membership and welcome Buffy Rocks to the Wolfpack. Hearts for Emily and Tyranna. Thank you, ladies, and welcome the two new Wolfpack members. Thank you, ladies. Hearts for Emily and Tyranna. It's grouse. The hike to Grouse Lake is a strenuous one. This is because it follows the Chil New Al Chilnualna Falls. I apologize if I butcher this. Trail and veers off nearly 5 miles after starting at the trailhead. After following a faint trail that many never see, Grouse Lake comes into view. It is at Grouse Lake where Clark decided to take a rest after his hike. I don't blame him. 5 miles is a pretty good hike. On the opposite side of the lake from where Clark was, there was a band of Awanee who had just finished up a deer hunt. They were getting water but were not swimming in the water. When the group was leaving, Clark heard a distinct sound that he attributed to a wailing puppy that the Awanee left behind. Later on that evening, Clark joined the same group he had seen at the lake at camp. Clark asked them about the crying and whether they were missing a puppy, but much to Clark's surprise, the Awanee told them that the crying was not that of a puppy. Instead, it was the cries of a boy who was drowned in Grouse Lake. Nope, it was not a lady in white for once. According to legend, the boy cries to lure others into the lake. Then, when they have waded into the lake, the boy grabs people by the feet and drags them into the lake where they are drowned. Kind of reminds me of the ending of Friday the 13th, where Jason pops out of the water and grabs her in the boat. While there are not any statistics on how many people have drowned at Grouse Lake, the story may just be enough to make those who visit Yosemite want to swim elsewhere. Chilnualna Falls Trail leading to Grouse Lake is the scariest hiking trail in the US. That is a beautiful view. Wow, that's amazing. What is interesting about Grouse Lake is that the hike to get out to it requires hikers to take Chilnualna Falls Trail. The trail is one of the best kept secrets in Yosemite National Park because it is outside of the area where visitors usually venture, as it is closer to Wawona than it is to Yosemite Valley. But with its three separate waterfalls that can be seen along the hike, it is stunning. However, it has also been named the scariest hiking trail in the US. I don't think I want to take it. The designation comes from the fact that not only does Chilnualna Falls Trail leads to a waterfall that spills into Gross Lake, but that many have felt unsettled on the trail en route to the lake. Whether the uneasy feeling comes from knowing that the destination of Gross Lake could come with the consequences of hearing the boy scream from the lake, or if spirits or with hikers along the trail is unknown. However, just like Bridaville Falls, the falls at Chilnul. Oh my God. Hold on. How do you pronounce this? Give me a second, guys. Chilwana? I was completely off. However, just like Bridalville Falls, the falls at Chilwana, I was completely off, are considered to be cursed, which is another factor as to why hikers may feel unrest while at Chilwana Falls Trail. Chilwana Falls is also considered to be haunted. Wow. Not only Gross Lake, but you got the falls as well. One of the most famous waterfalls worth chasing in Yosemite is Bridal Veil Falls. It is here that the Puhono spirit is said to live, luring people to the mist only so they will be captured by the falls and never seen again, adding to the number of missing people Yosemite has reported. According to the Ahwahnee legend, it is not until another person is tempted by the no spirit that the previous person whose fate was the falls will have their spirit released. It turns into a vicious cycle of people needing to be drawn to the falls to allow others into the afterlife. There are some who claim Pohono or evil wind is in all the waterfalls in Yosemite. If Pohono is in Chilnoa Falls, luring people to peer over the falls to only then find their faith in Grouse Lake. It adds an even scarier layer to the tale that already makes hair stand on end when traveling till Chinua Falls Trail, regardless of whether Grouse Lake is your intended destination or not. Note to self, avoid the Chinua Falls Trail, but it looks beautiful, so I don't think that would stop me. Joanne goes, we have a grouse lake here in Ontario. Great fishing, they say. That seems like a cool place. At first, I thought I was just reading about the lake, but it looks like that whole area is possibly haunted. So it would make a great trip for anyone that wants to hike. I don't know how rugged that trail is because that's by them saying it's the scariest. I feel like it's super rugged, but I don't know. Lisa Bugos looks pretty. I would go there. I would go there, I think. I would go there. Just avoid the waterfall, the mist of the waterfalls and going into the lake. Kyle goes, that's why the name sounded familiar. Pesky people with naming more than one lake the same name. And the rabbit hole, they did also mention Yosemite's most haunted hotel. Might as well go into that. Tyrana goes, I would go too. It looks nice. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful area. I don't find it scary at all. But watch when we do go there, we'll be like, oh, now I know what they're talking about. But it's a beautiful area. I found a rabbit hole. I do like to go down rabbit holes here on Grayson Report. They did mention Yosemite's most haunted hotel. As I mentioned before, I've been to Yosemite, but it was a long time ago. I think I was in high school or maybe even junior high school. Wouldn't mind going back. I do remember it was amazing when I did go. It was like being in a different world. It's not like when living in the city. It's like completely different. It's like forest. It's amazing. It's beautiful. When speaking about Yosemite, it is the national park with its waterfalls, climbing and facts about El Capitan or Half Dome, or the hiking trails, including some of the longest, like the scenic and dangerous John Muir Trail. I guess there's another dangerous trail, or the Pacific Crest Trail, are major talking points. The conversation do not generally go to the paranormal, though. There is apparently activity in Yosemite. Hauntings are specifically seen at Yosemite's most haunted hotel. Do you dare stay? Over the years, there have been tales of interesting unexplained phenomena that have occurred in Yosemite, be it the Yosemite mummy or the Fresno night crawlers, which I have talked about in a previous stream, which were the Fresno night crawlers were these pant-looking creatures that they said that they saw in Fresno and also saw them in Yosemite as well. There may be more happening in Yosemite than visitors realize. One such location is an iconic stop for dining and sleeping accommodations near Yosemite National Park. While there is no outward indication that there is paranormal activity, stepping once stepping into the guest room at one of the top rated hotels in Yosemite Valley, the Ahwahnee Hotel, it becomes clear why it is the most haunted lodging in Yosemite. What is up, Dusty? Bernadette goes Lisa in Wonderland going down haunted rabbit holes. Exactly. And she went over to my Twitch and it said, I love these streams. Thank you, Bernadette. I appreciate that. Tales of ghost sightings at the Ahwahnee Hotel. This looks like an awesome hotel as well. It's beautiful. The ghost at the I always feel like hotels like in I don't know, I'm more of a forest and cabin girl, so I always felt like hotels in these areas are beautiful. I'm always going to think they're beautiful because I think, like I said, I am a cabin in the woods, not the movie. I'm a cabin in the woods girl with lakes more than I am a beach girl. So this is right up my alley. For those, hold on, there's the outside. I didn't know. Oh, here's the inside. Wow. Okay, this is a hotel I don't mind visiting one day. For those who are hoping for tales of angry spirits and those who like to scare guests out of their rooms in the middle of the night, the Ahwahnee Hotel will not provide that experience. The spirits that remain at the hotel long after their deaths are said to be quite friendly. Ooh, I don't mind those. Mary Curry Tressadier and her husband Donald Tressadier were the former owners of the Ahwahnee Hotel. Mary was part of the Curry family, which helped to make the famed Ahwahnee Hotel come to life in addition to what is now the Curry Village via the Yosemite Park and Curry Company. After the hotel was built, Mary and Donald lived in a residence on the 6th floor. Donald unfortunately passed away while on a trip to New York in 1948, but Mary stayed on at the hotel until she died in 1970. Wow. While both Mary and Donald are said to be seen at the hotel, Mary is the one who makes the most appearances. Makes sense because Donald did not pass away there. It doesn't really say if Mary did or not, but she did spend the last part of her life there, so it does make sense why she would be there. Be it dancing in the common rooms of the Ahwahnee or tucking in residents who stay on the 6th floor, her happy spirit is felt often. JFK, the Ahwahnee Hotel, has been a favorite of many past presidents. One in particular is John F. Kennedy, is still seen from time to time in spirit at the hotel. When Kennedy stayed at the hotel, his room was on the 3rd floor. Due to his back condition, it is said that Kennedy requested that a rocking chair be brought to his room. While there are not any rocking chairs at the hotel today, there are times when one pops up on the 3rd floor and can be seen rocking, with many believing it is former president relaxing and enjoying his time at Yosemite. I wouldn't mind visiting that place in the afterlife. It's beautiful, peaceful, probably. Hollywood meets Yosemite. While it may not be a hauntingly good story, the Ahwahnee Hotel served as an inspiration for some sets in the film The Shining. Because of this, the elevator and decor around it in The Shining are eerily similar to what is at the Ahwahnee Hotel today. Kind of, yeah. Oh, no way, yeah. Of course, the original inspiration of the Stanley Hotel came from the 1927 decor at the Ahwahnee Hotel, but it seems things haven't changed much. History of the Ahwahnee Hotel. Here is another beautiful view of the hotel. Oh my God, that is amazing. And looks like a banquet room and probably the lobby or something like that. Oh my God, this is amazing. Dude, look at that. Amazing. I know for some, because some people live in an area that's like this. I'm in SoCal. We don't see much like this. Bernadette goes, I always wondered when you stay at haunted hotels, do they stare at you when you're on the toilet? I don't think so. I don't want to think about that when I'm trying to do business. I don't want to think about that. Well, it seems hard to believe today that Yosemite National Park had a hard time getting visitors to come to the park, given it is one of the most popular national parks in the US. There was a struggle in the early days of the national park to not only get visitors to come, but to stay. This was because the accommodations were lacking, and those from the upper echelon of society refused to rough it while visiting Yosemite. In response to this, the government decided that luxury accommodations would be required to have more people visit the beauty of Yosemite. A hotel was once considered near Yosemite Falls, but a lack of funding caused this project to become dead in the water. It was not until the Yosemite Park and Curry Company was merged from two separate companies that the Ahwahnee Hotel began to be built in earnest. The cost of the hotel ended up being double the original estimates, but it was clear that the cost was well worth it given the clientele from Hollywood elite, socialites, and US presidents that stayed at the hotel over the years. So no one wanted to rough it. Um, so they had to I guess that makes sense. A lot of people don't like camping or roughing it out. So it does make sense why they would do this. Kind of making um I mean, obviously this is a hotel, so it would be glamping because I feel like glamping's more of your camping. You're camping, but you have a toilet and shower available type of thing and electricity. Albany was not only a hotel over the years, but was transformed in 1943 to be a hospital for the Navy. For 3 years, the Albany remained closed to business. When it reopened, guests were thrilled and came back to the hotel as if it had never been closed. While the Albany Hotel was had faced ups and downs over the years, as the rest of the hospitality industry has, it remains one of the most popular hotels in Yosemite Valley, especially during peak season. Those who want to stay at the famed hotel should make reservation early. Why stay at the Ahwahnee Hotel? It's beautiful. That's all. That's all I need to hear. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's rustic. There are no other accommodations like Ahwahnee Hotel in Yosemite Valley. The grandeur that the hotel was known for beginning in the 20s still remains today, as does much of the interior the way it was designed nearly a century ago. While there have been upgrades over the years to reflect what society wanted out of luxury hotels, as well as to make the building safe from an earthquake and snow accommodation standpoint, what has not changed are the magnificent views the Ahwahnee Hotel provides. While the Ahwahnee Hotel, which is one of several hotels built within walking distance of a national park, was not built under a waterfall, its location provides some of the best sights in Yosemite Valley. From the rooms of the hotel, places like Half Dome, Glacier Point, and Yosemite Falls can be seen. For those interested in dining or staying at the famed Ahwahnee Hotel, the peak season will be difficult to make either happen within a reservation or without a reservation. The off season may allow for last minute reservations. However, be advised that for the remainder of 2024, the Ahwahnee Hotel is undergoing seismic retrofitting per the hotel's website. Well, I mean, it needs to be done. The hotel remains open, but it's subject to construction noise, but you didn't want to sit in your room the entire trip anyway, did you? Would you stay at this haunted Ahwahnee Hotel, guys? Would you? I would. It looks amazing. D Nice goes 5-hour road trip. Bernadette, I glamp, not camp. Dusty goes, I'm pretty sure they're at, commenting on Bernadette's earlier comment. Dusty goes, I'm pretty sure they're in the shower with you. I would go there. It seems amazing. I don't know how much it costs to go there, considering they did mention that it is a luxury hotel. Um, I'm pretty sure you have to pay. I'm pretty sure the off season wouldn't be too bad, but let's see. Let's see if we were to get a room. Oh, they're all booked out for September. Ding! They're all booked out for September. Okay, here, Halloween for the hell of it. Just to check to see how much. And here I'm on the hotel site because you know me, I have to check. Jennifer Marie, what is up? It is luxury. Yes, it is a luxury hotel. Best available rate is $578 a night. I was gonna say a month. A night. Holy crap. Oh, that's a suite. I was gonna say $1,300. Hell no. And then standard, but if you want a classic hotel room, it's 668 a night. That is crazy, crazy cray. But it is beautiful. So in some ways, Matthew goes, would like to go to that Queen Mary haunt. The funny thing, Matthew, I do know about that. I've never been to it. I know it's probably similar to like like the Hollywood Horror Nights type of thing, but I've always been wondering how much that one would be because I've never been to that one. D Nice goes, not six. I know it. They should have done that. Wouldn't that have been funny? Not 666 a night. That they should have done that. But that's a ridiculous amount to pay to go there. But I mean, I guess it's worth it because it's beautiful. But you can't stay there more than one night, if that. That's ridiculous. And that's for Halloween. I do know the Queen Mary has haunted tours. They also just recently opened the haunted suite. I think it's 340, if I'm not mistaken, B340. They just recently opened that room this September, so I'm pretty sure a bunch of people have been checking that out. The Queen Mary is expensive to stay on too, but not as expensive as Awani Hotel. I think it's about half the price, but to me that's expensive. What is that? The Queen Mary Dark Harbor, I think is what it's called. Yeah. Anybody in the chat that's in SoCal have any of you guys been to the Queen Mary Dark Harbor? I have never been to it, and I've always been curious about it. I'm going down another rabbit hole. I think it started tonight and it's sold out, obviously. Dark Harbor is Southern California's most haunted Halloween event. Each fall, the Queen Mary transforms the ship and surrounding harbor into a massive Halloween festival featuring haunted mazes, hundreds of monsters, immersive attractions, live entertainment, VIP experience, theme bars and lounges, carnival rides, festive eats and treats, Instagrammable moments, and more. Our festival format allows you to pick and choose from a variety of attractions and experience from terrifying mazes aboard the notoriously haunted Queen Mary to festival favorites like the sinister swings. Tickets are available online. They have the lullaby in the depths of the Queen Mary's first class swimming pool. The sinister, playful ghost of Scary Mary rises to accost passengers and guide them toward a watery abyss, a vortex that leads to the chilly underworld. Listen carefully and you may hear the final lullaby. The infirmary. Oh, this is actually kind of cool. It's kind of like period base. Well, obviously, because the Queen Mary is the wicked spirits of the sadistic surgeon and his accomplice in life, graceful Gale, torment the living with ghastly echoes of their gruesome procedures. Their path of destruction stretches from the first class decks to the eerie depths deep inside the bowels of the Queen Mary as they accost the living with their unrelenting rage, while the spectacle of Dr. Edwin Masters' specialized surgeries in the operating theater dazzles spectators. But they have no idea what's happening below in the third class corridors. Injustice will not stand for long. Will the third class patients be overthrown this maniacal medic, or will he and Gale continue their gory game in the violent, disturbing, macabre masquerade? D-Dice goes, I'm going to have to drag my man to that one. Matthew goes, I saw a video on YouTube from Adam the Woo if anyone wants to see what it looks like. Dusty goes, am I imagining that Skeledeck is very visual this evening? You will find out, Dusty. Elaine goes, that would be cool. Like I said, I've never been to this, but this is actually kind of catching my eye. Feast! Step inside the back end of the ship's kitchen to witness the origin story of the chef, who began his career as a young, ambitious, and handsome butcher with his eyes on the head chef role aboard the luxury cruise liner. After chopping up flesh for years on the ship, the butcher grew resentful toward the ungrateful first class passengers who consumed his meticulously prepared meats. Frustrated, it would have been funny if it said flustered. The butcher takes recipe creation efforts into his own bloody hands by adding his special ingredients that no one can quite put their finger on. Will you be able to escape the wrath of the butcher, or will you be served up next? That actually sounds kind of cool. I'm wondering if when all these attractions, secret speakeasies, observation deck, anchor acts, pirates plunder shootout. Wow, they have all kinds of things. Wow, this is like better than. There's also a DJ. They have swings. They also have carnival rides. Whoa. I wonder how much tickets are. Just out of curiosity. Just for anybody that's included. $50 including I guess Fridays 50, and then on the week Saturdays it $54.99. Thursday, if you go on a Thursday, October 3rd, it's $39.99. It's not that bad. So the prices range anywhere from $39.99 to $54.99. There might be coupons somewhere. If you guys are in the SoCal area and looking for something other than Halloween Horror Nights or Knox Scary Farm to go to, that actually sounds pretty interesting. It sounds different. Shelly, what is up? D-Night, that's what I was thinking. There's always a group on. Exactly. Leonor! Leonor has been to the Queen Mary. So how was it? Did you go to the dark Leonor, did you go to the Dark Harbor? I've never been, so I'm just curious. It looks interesting. And it looks different than like the normal the horror nights in the not scary farm or a haunted, escape room or whatnot be. I've never done one of those. And the prices aren't that bad, actually. D Nice goes, it would be cool if we get the SoCal group together to go. That would be cool. Actually, that would be cool, D Nice. To do a meetup at Queen Mary Dark Harbor. All right, guys, you know how I love Japanese folklore. Um, and I hope to go to Japan one day. I've always felt like, I don't know, for some odd reasons, I feel like Asian spirits are nastier than the ones that we may have here. I don't know. I'm more scared of a Japanese spirit than than I am of one here. Don't ask me why, but 10 terrifying Japanese yokai, supernatural creatures, Japanese yokai have fascinated humanity for centuries, and they have recently made their way into anime and mag, maga, mag, manga. The list explores some of the scariest and most entertaining. Yokai have a long and storied history in Japan. These ghost or supernatural creatures were often used to explain fearsome natural phenomenon during the Meiji period, or and were held in high regard. However, during the Edo period, they started to on a more entertaining role in culture due to the efforts of the philosopher Inoue Enroyo and the advent of science in bigger cities. City folks were also becoming more disconnected from nature in contrast to their rural counterparts. Today, they still hold a prominent place in Japanese art and culture and can be seen in popular anime and manga, manga such as Demon Slayer and Yokai Watch. I do not watch anime, so you probably can already, or anime. You can probably tell that already. Chris, what is up? Bernadette, Asian spirits are because they are so strict. D Nice goes facts. So number one, we got the Horogumo, the Spider Woman. Japan is known for its diverse wildlife, which can be found in its forests, oceans, lakes, and mountains. This includes the creepier variety of animals like the golden orb weaver snake. These arachnids have been crawling around Japan for centuries and have subsequently made their way into folklore. A famous tale says that if an orb weaver lives to be 400 years old, they gain the ability to shapeshift into a beautiful woman. However, her good looks are just a guise for her evil intentions. She ensnares men in the impressive web she weaves and devours them. 2. The Gosh Hadokuro, the starving huge skeleton. I better stay away from skeletons after this. As the name suggests, these yokai are giant skeletons, 15 times larger than a regular human. They are made up of the bones of the deceased who either died in battle or during a famine. They are vengeful spirits who prey on humans, eating anyone who happens to cross paths with them, usually at 2 a.m. They are said to have glowing green or yellow eyes, and they make a rattling sound with their jaw as they approach. They are only destroyed when their pent up anger is released from hunting enough humans, after which the bones disintegrate. Okay, so if I hear at 2 a.m., I see this huge, large skeleton with glowing green eyes and glowing green or yellow eyes and making rattling noise, I will definitely run the opposite direction. Nerd report in the house. Leonore has been to the Queen Mary Dark Harbor, and she says, I have. It was pretty good. Oh, that's awesome. Wendy, what is up? The Kuchisaki Ono slit mouth woman, which I have spoke about in previous streams. There is also a movie about her somewhere around. This is a more contemporary addition to the list, first appearing in the 16th and 17th century and having a resurgent in popularity in the 70s. This yokai is a malevolent spirit who takes the form of a beautiful woman wearing a mask and carrying scissors. If you happen to encounter her in a dark alleyway, she will ask you whether she is beautiful, and if you reply with a no, she will stab you. If you reply yes, she will pull down her mask to reveal that her mouth has been slit open from ear to ear. She will repeat her questions, and if you reply no, she will stab you. But if you reply yes, she will slit your mouth with the scissors so that you can be beautiful like her. Unfortunately, there is no escaping this yokai, and an encounter with her will lead to either death or disfigurement. She was disfigured during her human life when her husband, a samurai, found out about her adultery and punished her accordingly by slitting her mouth. Bernadette goes, no, I did not. You guys can read her comment in the thing. This is what she asked. The Ma- Yamaba, the forest witch. These hags or witches live in the mountains and forests of Japan and take the shape of filthy old women. The Yamaba will lure travelers from the path of by offering them shelter and food for the night and will attack and devour them later in their sleep. Today, disobedient children are often told that the Yamaba will kidnap them if they do not behave. Some scholars believe that the Yamaba, I'm probably butchering it, I do apologize again in advance, find their origins in an old custom during which elderly women were abandoned in forests during times of famine or economic hardship in order to alleviate strain on resources. These women would be transformed by their rage and grief into evil witches who take their revenge on unsuspecting passerbyers. That sucks. If that was real, if they actually did that. I don't know if they did. No, I guess it's real because I clicked on a rabbit hole and it does talk about that it's a Japanese tradition. Abandoning an elderly or ailing relative in a remote spot appears to be alive and well after police arrested a woman suspected of dumping her 79-year-old father at a motorway service station. What? That is sad. The Akamanto, another contemporary yokai. The story goes that this ghost will appear in front of you if you decide to use the last stall in an elementary school restroom. All right, I will not be using the last stall in an elementary school restroom ever again after this. The ghost will hold up 2 rolls of toilet paper, one red and one blue, and ask you to pick a color. If you choose red, the ghost will stab you to death, covering you in so much blood that it looks like a red cloak. If you choose blue, they will strangle you, or all the blood will be sucked from your body. Another loose situation. In some version, it is actually a serial killer waiting in the next stall or a kanade. The kanade is a yokai who lives in toilets and reaches up to stroke people's rear ends. In this version, the color that the student chooses determines the color of the arm that reaches up. Um, uh, um, no. No. Matthew goes, "Don't strangle the Charmin." I'm like, "No, I'm going to stay out of the bathrooms, period." I do not want to see that ghost. Especially, no, especially this part. In some version, I'm going to repeat, it is actually a serial killer one waiting in the next stall or a kanade. The kanade is a yoki who lives in the toilets and reaches up to stroke people's rear ends. In this version, the color that the student chooses determines the color of the arm that reaches up. No, thank you. Shelly. That's why I had to read it again. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, what? Chris is like, no. Kyle goes, I gotta buy me dinner first. Bernadette goes, now I can say I can't pick a color. I'm colorblind. So there, Joanne goes, sounds familiar. Pick either the red or blue toilet paper roll. Isn't it that kind of similar to what is it? The Matrix with the red and is it the red and blue pill? D Nice was like, hell no. Dusty goes, creepy things in outhouses. Bernadette goes, good luck, ghost. I hate Taco Bell. Joanne goes, better than getting bit in an outhouse. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Shelly goes, I don't want my butt stroked from the toilet. Aileen going with Scott's harsh and white. Wendy's like, no public restrooms. Nope. Also, too, I want to give a shout out to D Nice for her PayPal. Hearts for D Nice. Thank you, D Nice. She goes, "Hi, sis. I love rabbit hole streams." Thank you, D Nice. Hearts for D Nice, guys. Chris goes, "Northern quilted." Definitely something I was not expecting when I was reading about yokai. The Jubu Cuckoo, vampire trees. At first glance, these seem like ordinary trees. However, as one gets closer, heaps of human bones become visible at the base of the tree. By then, it is too late to backtrack, and the tree will lift you up into its bow, sucking out all your blood with tube-like twigs. Insects and birds will consume the rest of the corpse until only the dry bones fall to the earth below. The Joboko were originally trees once, but if a massacre or battle happened nearby, all the blood soaking the earth would be absorbed by the trees, which transformed them into a yokai. Actually, I kind of like that one. It reminds me to stay away from trees. I'm going to look at trees differently now. I don't know about you guys. The Obarion, or imp. This is an imp-like creature who jumps on the back of unsuspecting travelers piggyback style. The name comes from the action as one would ask for a piggyback ride by saying the phrase Obarion, which is part of a local dialect in Niigata Prefecture. Some versions of the myth states that the yokai will get heavier with every step the traveler takes until the weight crushes them. Another version says if the traveler is able to bear the weight, the Obarion will turn into a sack of gold as a reward. With this, I would be like, what happens if a guy's been trading with a weight vest? So the guy would definitely get the gold, right? Because the weight wouldn't affect him. The guy would be like, "Man, I've been training for months with this. Like, go bring it." What happens if you still have them on your back and you're crawling? Do you still get a reward? Shelly goes, "Oh, public restrooms. That hand has been all over the map." Matthew goes, "Good luck, fat bastard from Austin Powers. You just hit the toilet. Wait, I didn't eat any corn." Kyle goes, "When I hear that, I think of the Beetlejuice cartoon episode where he has a leprechaun on his back." D Nice goes, "Remember the tree from Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow? Reminded me of that." Elaine goes, "Matthew, now I have who does number two work for me in my head." A kappa. These yokai are aquatic creatures that populate Japan's lakes, rivers, wells, and ponds. They're usually the size of a small child, but with green reptilian skin and a beak instead of a mouth. They have webbed hands and feet, which allow them to efficiently tread water, as well as a shell on their back. On top of that, kappa skulls is a deep crevice or dish filled with water, which is the source of all the power. If the dish is empty or dries up, the kappa loses its power. Note to self, these yokai can be good or evil. They are some of the most intelligent yokai, able to learn human language as well as possessing invaluable medicinal knowledge, which some say they taught early humans. They like playing games and will be fiercely loyal if one manages to befriend them. However, they are also known to tear apart humans who swim in their waters and will also kidnap and are women. They are inescapable in water, but on land they can be outwitted in the following way. Due to their well-mannered nature, they have to return a bow if you bow to them, which will empty the dish on their head. This will either cause them to lose their powers or they will befriend you. They have two favorite foods: cucumber and human entrails. I don't know where I would have get human entrails. Cucumbers can often be found near bodies of water as offerings, as kappas are revered in Shinto as water gods. Chris goes, I like kappa. I know those guys actually don't sound too bad. Matthew goes, funny, a guy said that in his Orlando Hollow Scream video earlier named Tampa J. I get it. When you encounter a kappa, just remember to bow. Because if they lose, I guess they have water on the top of their head. So if they lose the water on top of their head, they either befriend you or and they'll lose their power. They'll either lose their power or befriend you. So just remember to bow when you see a kappa. Shelly goes, there's a human entrail store on La Brea. What? Chris Chris Berber goes, that's what I like on turkey, cucumber, and entrails. The Nuri Botoki, the lacquered Buddha. This yokai is named after appearance as a Buddha-like imp with a round belly, a tail, and eyes hanging out of its sockets. It also has ink black, oily skin and leaves a pungent smell wherever it goes. This usually appears at family shrines called butsudans, which have been left open overnight, allowing them to crawl through from another world. In Japanese homes, boot, butsudan are closed each night to prevent such creatures from entering. They may also appear in homes that are run down or if shrines are not popular or cared for. They do not do much except flap their tail and terrorize the unfortunate family whose butsudan, I think it's more Bootsadon, they crawled out of. Some legends state that they may even give false prophecies or try to trick humans. They can be kept at bay by sprinkling salt on the floor, and they will return to the Bootsadon at sunrise. Ooh, that is crazy. Hold on, let me sit up because I look like I'm up. There you go. I look tiny. The Ningyo, the human fish yokai, kind of almost looks like a Fiji well, no, a Fiji mermaid was a monkey. Wasn't a Fiji mermaid a monkey with a fishtail tied to it or something like that? Unlike beautiful mermaids from the Western tradition, these yokais are more fish than human and are often described as hideous, deformed creatures. They range in appearance from grotesque fish like faces to human torsos with sharp claws and a tail. Some are depicted as a human head on a fish body. They have been documented in some of the earliest Japanese texts, such as the Nihon Soki, which dates back to 619 CE. They are not particularly harmful to humans, but if caught or wounded, they will curse their assailant. Some people so far as some people, oh my God, some going as far as to curse whole families or villages, which will then be swallowed up by a tsunami or destroyed by an earthquake. Some fishermen set out to catch them despite the danger, as it is said that eating a Ningyo's flesh will grant eternal youth. Some mummies held at temples claim to be Ningyos, but more often than not, they are man made using fish parts. These are known as Fiji mermaids in the West. Yep, I did mention that because that's what it reminded me of. Guys, what did you think of these? My PC's B. What, guys, what did you think of the yokais? Elaine goes cucumbers and entrails, a non-conventional conventional Thanksgiving. Dusty goes, our entrails, that snotty stuff when aliens get blown up in Men in Black. Does that mean they are blowing us up? Shelly goes, I'll never go to the bathroom the same way again. I don't think I will either. I'm going to definitely be checking the toilet before I sit down on it. And I know in some cases people have actually found snakes in their toilet. I've never had that happen here. We don't, but I know in some areas they've had that happen. So, I mean, maybe it's a good habit to have. All right, I know this is not spooky related, but I kind of found it interesting. Kind of goes with the strange and unusual because I do talk about the strange and unusual as well. Um 9 of the strangest last meals ever requested. I came across this by accident and I was like, "Oh, this sounds kind of interesting." Um Death row inmates have been making last requests for centuries. Some of the requests are mundane, while others are downright strange. In this blog post, we will look at 9 of the strangest death row's last requests. Some of these requests are shocking and some are simply bizarre. Um, this is on History Defined and it is by Carl Seaver. Of course, not all requests were granted, but they provide an interesting glimpse into the mind of those on death row. When did the last meal become a thing for death row inmates? When facing a death sentence, an inmate may be allowed to make a final request. My thing is, I used to I'm more for life in prison because I feel like life in prison uh is kind of more of a punishment than death. I don't know. This is my opinion. I know some people might not agree with it, but I feel like that is more of a punishment because it gives you more time to think about what you did and why you're there. I feel like a death kind of though some of these inmates may be in there for 50 years before they even, uh get executed, but or not executed, but meet their demise, I should say. So, but I still feel like that's still an easy way out. Especially for these families that have lost a loved one to a horrific crime. Um, I feel like life in prison is a more of a punishment than death itself. But I get if you would say the death things because they'll meet their maker in death. So in a way that is a punishment too. But I feel like life would give them more would be more of a punishment because they can't go outside the walls. They can't really live a life. I mean, they kind of are, but they're not. Tyranna goes, it depends on the crime. True. I agree too. Chris goes, I always feared rats in the toilets. D Nice goes, yes, sometimes inmates just unalive others within the cell blocks. They do that. They do that too. Lisa Boo goes, they use an eye for an eye. When facing a death sentence, an inmate may be allowed to make a final request. While some people chose to ask for a specific type of food or drink, others make more unusual requests. Some of these requests are simply strange, while others are downright weird. However, many may wonder where this tradition started. The brief history of the last meal, which is kind of cool because I didn't know where this came from. The tradition of the last meal likely stretches back centuries and much further. Some speculate that it is out of fear of ghosts and could be traced back to the last meal of Jesus. In ancient Greece, you had to feed the person who was getting executed so they could cross the river Styx into the underworld. If not, they could come back as a hungry ghost. The Puritans were said to hold large feasts for the condemned people, believing that the ritual honored the Last Supper of Christ and represented atonement. The last meal became more common in the US in the early 1800s. It was seen as a way to ease the transition for the person facing execution and as a humane act. While it's likely that the tradition started much earlier in the modern world in the US, at least, it's most likely began in 1924. For instance, in Texas, the last meal was started right after the government replaced the gallows with the electric chair and the state took over the executions from each country or county. So let's dive in to see what death row inmates requested and if the correction facilities obliged to them. 9 of the strangest death row last requests. While it's typical for condemned people not to get what they're asked for, excuse me, owing to financial or other food limitations, there are still unusual requests. Here are some of the strangest requests that have been made. Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber, asked for 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream as his final meal. Instead, he reportedly ate the ice cream alone in his windowless cell the night before he was scheduled to die by lethal injection. Victor Fugger, on March, no, I don't want to sign up to your newsletter. On March 15th of 1963, Victor Figure was executed by hanging in Iowa after being convicted for the murder of Dr. Edward Bartles. Figure chose a single olive with a pit for his last meal and hoped the tree symbolized peace would sprout from his grave. Instead, officials found the olive pit in his suit pocket during burial. Velma Barfield, the first woman to be executed by lethal injection after the reinstatement of capital punishment, dubbed the Death Row Granny. Velma Barfield requested a bag of cheese doodles and a can of Coca-Cola as her last meal. That actually, I kind of want to look into her story. What did she do? James Edward Smith, the Texas killer they put on death row in June of 1990, wins the prize for one of the oddest last meal requests, a clump of dirt. Because dirt was not on the list of approved foods provided by prison officials, they denied Smith's request and gave him yogurt instead. Gary Carl Simmons Jr., a grocery store butcher and a drug addict, Gary Carl Simmons Jr. was convicted of the 1996 murder and dismemberment of Jeffrey Wolf and the R of his girlfriend, who had come to his home to collect nearly a $20,000 drug debt. For his last meal, Simmons requested a 29,000 calorie meal consisting of pizza, Doritos, McDonald's fries, strawberry shake, and ice cream, but he didn't finish the button bursting feast. That's a lot of food. Philip Workman, on the day before his execution in 2007, Workman asked that a large vegetarian pizza be given to a homeless person in Nashville instead of having his last meal. The prison refused the request, but many others across Tennessee still followed through with his wish and brought hundreds of pizzas to local shelters for the homeless. Philip Workman is the one that wanted the vegetarian. That's his picture. Gerald Lee Mitchell, in 2011, Georgia resident Gerald Lee Mitchell didn't ask for a complete supper like others. Instead, he requested an assortment bag of Jolly Rancher sweets. Peter J. Manel requested one of the planet's most enormous death row dinners in history. The 42-year-old asked for 20 beef tacos and beef enchiladas, 2 double cheeseburgers, a jalapeno pizza, and fried chicken. However, it doesn't stop there. The inmate also requested spaghetti, fruit cake, half a chocolate cake, and half of a vanilla cake, cookies and cream, and caramel pecan fudge ice cream, 2 Cokes, 2 Pepsis, 2 root beers, and 2 glasses of orange juice. Oh my God. That's a lot of food. Lawrence Russell Brewer, strangest of death row inmates, asked for an exorbitant last meal: 2 chicken fried steaks with gravy-drenched onions, a bacon cheeseburger, triple meat with all the fixings on the side, 1 cheese omelet loaded with ground beef, tomatoes, onions, bell peppers, and jalapenos. The inmate's eyes were bigger than his stomach as he continued to ask for other things like a massive bowl of ketchup-smothered fries, okra, barbecue meat by the pound with half a loaf of white bread to sop it up, and 3 fully decked out fajitas. Still not finished, Brewer asked for more, such as a Pizza Hut meat lover's pizza, a pint of Bluebell vanilla ice cream, a piece of peanut butter fudge and with crushed peanuts, and 3 root beers. Woo! Even though most prison systems wouldn't approve such a big demand, the Texas prison system did at the time, which has since changed. Brewer refused to eat when the food arrived, stating that he wasn't hungry. Afterward, Texas stopped honoring last meal requests. Why did the inmate refuse their last meals? Although there is scant data on death row inmates' culinary choices, we know that some have refused their last meal. In addition to the case in Texas noted above, Bundy declined his final repast. Some people speculate that there is a biological reason for this. Since the inmate is facing death, there is no physical need for food or energy. And sometimes it could be that inmates are just too frightened to take a bite. Perhaps it's even one last bit of defiance. People are fascinated with last meals. The tradition of allowing death row inmates the last meal dates back to the early days of the U.S. criminal justice system. Many condemn the practice as a barbaric holdover from a more brutal error. Others argue that it is a humane way to comfort those about to be executed. Whatever your opinion, there is no denying that the last will request is fascinating glimpse into the minds of some of America's most notorious criminals. In the end, the inmate no longer have control over the life or death, but they can still exert some control over their final moments. And for that, they are entitled to their last meal. What do you think? Should inmates get a say in their last meal, or is it a pointless gesture? What do you guys think? Joanne goes pizza and a strong bow cider for me. Wendy goes, gee, I wish I had that appetite. Jennifer Marie goes, mine would just be hot Cheetos and Oreos. Tyrana goes, I would throw up with all that food. D Nice goes, that's my actual go-to meal. What's a month, if you know what I mean? Shelly goes, wow, that's sad. Yogurt instead of dirt. Bernadette goes, give them all Taco Bell. Chris Barber goes, lots of tacos. Matthew goes, would be eating the great outdoors old 96er for my last meal, a 30-gallon of nice cold tea. Shelly goes, deep fried Twinkies and lasagna. I don't know what I would ask for. I mean, I wouldn't be in that predicament. But I don't know what I would ask for. Pizza. Pizza and a soda and Doritos. There you go. And dessert. Some dessert. Probably ice cream and a waffle cone. Bernadette goes, a box of wine for me. But guys, do you think that's like do you think they should do away with the last meal, or do you think that's like something they should continue doing? Because obviously a person's on death row because they committed a heinous crime of some sort. So do you think they deserve that? I mean, I get it. They're trying to be humane because what they're doing is technically, and I mean, if you think of it, it kind of is humane to do that to someone, but they put themselves in this situation by doing something else to someone else. So Joanne goes, cherry cheesecake for dessert. D Nice goes, geez, imagine the chair and the person had Taco Bell. That's lethal. Tyrana goes, no, they don't deserve it. Joanne, not sure if I would have an appetite. Wendy goes, no entitlement. I mean, obviously, if you're going to die the next day, I don't think I would have an appetite, to be honest with you. D Nice goes, all the juices that would expel. That's probably why they stopped, because of the smell. It says it says the Texas one stopped. But I'm pretty sure they still do it. Chris Barber goes, they don't deserve it. I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think they deserve it because they got themselves in that position and they did a hideous crime. For example, Ted Bundy. So I don't think they deserve it. They Matthew goes, one last meal before I go to hell. Would need one last good thing before landing into the hellscape. Elaine goes, maybe find out what the victim's favorite food was and serve it. Ooh, I didn't think of that one. Shelly goes, very true. Probably no appetite. I know they mentioned Bundy and he refused. Jennifer goes, I really think last meals can also help keep compliance. I mean, if you're going to die, you got nothing to lose to fight for your life, but this is a gesture to keep them compliant. Oh, yeah, maybe. I didn't think of it that way. True. Wendy goes, karma is a biatch. D nice. Oh, that's kind of mean though. Even though I mean, well, she goes. D nice goes. If they have any food allergies, just give them that. That's kind of mean, but at the same time, a lot of those people on death row did inhumane things. So yeah, I kind of can't feel sorry for them. They put themselves in that position. It was no fault but their own. So all right, guys, I'll give you a few more minutes to look for Skeleduck, and it is now open for questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask as well. Shelly goes, not much can make you feel better when you know you're going to hell. True. True. They just kind of have to accept their fate. D Nice goes, when it comes to those a-holes, I'm not D Nice. D bitch shows no mercy. They don't deserve sympathy. They don't. At all. Chris goes, I see something new over by the pumpkin head. That's I found what's cool, which is on my right, on your left. I found this cool skeleton. It's actually a DJ skeleton. And I didn't know it was one of those ones that make noise. But it does. Because I found it online. And I was like, I have to have it. I have to have it. I don't care. But it's an actual skeleton that's mixing. And I thought that was so cool. I had to get it. D Nice goes, oh my god, is he in a compromising position again? D Naughty has entered the chat. No, he is not. It looks like it though. He is not. I swear. Jennifer Murray goes, it depends on the circumstances. For me, I'm very much anti-death penalty. Nothing wrong with that. I kind of feel like what I was saying earlier, I feel like life in prison is more of a punishment than the death penalty. I feel like the death giving them death is an easier way out than uh spending life in prison. I feel like you suffer more when you're life in prison. That's just my opinion. Thank you, Joanne. Dusty goes, that's why I say just get me drunk. How about alcohol poisoning? All right, I will show where Skeleduck is. He is not in a compromising position. I had no intentions, but he does look like it. He is right. Shelly, you were correct. He is right above my head. He is by Skelegoose. I hit him behind Skelegoose. He is right there. He's on my Zoltar machine that I got from if you guys are familiar with the Zoltar machine. He is right on top of it. He's right there where my finger is pointed. I did not mean to make it look like that. I was more hiding him behind Skelegoose. Jennifer goes, in California, life in prison is less costly on our taxes than someone being sentenced to death row and being executed anyway. Shelly goes, I agree with you, Lisa. Just something I think even in elementary school, because we would have these debates, I think in sixth grade, and I think it was sixth grade. It was either in sixth grade or junior high school. about if we believed in the death penalty. And I would always say, I feel like staying alive is more of a punishment because you have to think about what you did while you sit in your prison cell. Bernadette goes, that pinche duck got me again. Matthew goes, reading online, some religions did that for criminals. D Nice goes, you're right. If I was behind Goosey, that it would be. But we're right. I know some people agree with the death penalty, some people don't, which is fine. We're all able to have an opinion. Especially since lately I've been watching a lot of true crime documentaries, and I feel like what these people do, and it's a lot of crime of passion ones that I've been watching, which is funny, about a husband killing a wife, about, and it sucks, and you hear the families talking about, their loved one that was murdered by their husband, and they go life in prison. I'm like, good, he deserves it. He can think about what he did, and that makes me think more and more like they should rot in prison instead of get the easy way out. Wendy goes, you had a junior high school, so did I, and a middle school. It was always junior high school, and then they changed it to middle school somewhere along the line. Chris, that's true. But if you were a sociopath, you wouldn't think about what you had done. That's very true. True. Shelly goes, I'm on the fence about death penalty. Sometimes innocent people get put to death. That's true too. There's a lot. I'm hearing a lot of stories of people spending 50 years in prison for something they didn't do, which is sad. But luckily, the sad thing is the people have to spend half their life in prison, but they do get out. But it's still sad. Lisa Boo, I do agree with you. So many sad true crime stories there is, and I've been watching. There's a few of them on Max. Married to Evil is the most recent one I'm watching. Um, and it's sad because they tell you the story of the person, and you're like, dude, that person didn't deserve it. Like the husband didn't even think about the kids. You know what I mean? It's sad. Elaine goes, as I got older, I realized life in prison is worse than death. Some want the death penalty. Nope. D Nice goes, middle school is 6 through 8. Junior high, I think, starts in 7th. That's where I went. Because my elementary school went up to 6th grade. And then I went to junior high school. But I don't know if there's a difference. Which was 7th and 8th grade. Dusty goes, the thing about life in prison is that society then has to support them, which is true. That's true. D Nice goes, 7 through 9 is junior high. Wendy goes 7th and 8th. Elaine goes, I see that also. Dusty, double-edged sword. It true could go both ways. It could. Make sure. All right, guys, any last minute questions before I end this stream? Chris and D Nice both was 6 through 8. Lisa Boo goes, thank you, Lisa. Great show. Wendy goes, I'm from Massachusetts. D Nice goes, would you make the 5-hour drive to that hotel? I like road trips. I'm not a plane person, so I would drive, but that hotel's super expensive at the same. But say if I had the money, I would go. I would drive. Matthew goes, one I just read, Puritans of Massachusetts once held grand feast for the condemned, believing Ida mutilated the last supper of Christ, representing a communal atonement for the community and the prisoner. That article kind of vaguely mentioned that. Thank you, Leonore, said awesome. Dusty goes, the old days, 7th through 9th was junior high. Thank you, Elaine. What a great show. Thank you, Lisa, in chat. Bernadette leaving us with a precaution. Just remember to look before you sit down on the toilet. Wendy goes, I'm so glad I got a win. Thank you. Matthew goes, thank you, laters. All right, guys, I am going to end the stream here. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Grayson Report. I will see you on the next one, which will be Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be there, be squared, stay spooky, and sweet nightmares, guys. Good night and have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you, guys. See you on the next one.